Hi, Wes Maple. In this video, I'm going to show you how to lay out Aardvark Monk's The Scream. I like to start off with the character itself. He's in the middle. I also want to make sure that I get my character big enough. The person screaming is almost halfway into the composition, halfway up. So when you start drawing it, I like to start from the head. That way I make sure I have enough space to fill his whole body. So as I start with the head, I'm going to start off with an upside down half circle, just like you would the top of the head. From here, Aardvark Monk makes it taper in and then adds in the chin. I'm going to add in the eyes, a couple dots for the nostrils, and then just an open mouth. What's going to work to our advantage is that Aardvark Monk did not put a ton of detail into the painting, so everything's kind of blocked out shapes. So from here, I'm going to start off with the hands. Since he is holding his head in a scream, I'm going to start off with a shape that just kind of follows the contours of the head. Finish him off into where the sleeves would be. From here, the shoulders and the bent arms come out, go down, and then back into the body on both sides. The body itself is just kind of contoured a little bit. It's going to follow all the way down to the edge. And I'm just going to add in the shirt. So for the most part, this is the shape that Aardvark Monk draws for the person. From here, we are going to be working on adding in the pier. So the shape itself is walking on a pier. It's made of the actual boardwalk and then 3 guardrails. The easiest way to work on the guardrails is actually pick a spot on the left edge of the paper, grab a ruler, and draw 6 lines that all start from the same spot, but they kind of fan out as they go toward this part of the paper. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to pick this spot up here. I'm going to grab a ruler, line it up on this edge, and then draw it somewhere at the bottom edge of my paper. I'm going to draw a straight line. When I get to the person, I'm going to stop and then finish it off all the way down. There's one line. My next line is going to start in the same spot, and I'll lift it up like this. I'm going to line up this edge on the left side of the paper in the same spot. But as it comes down and touches the paper, I'm going to let it open up a little bit, so it almost looks like sun's rays when they flare out. I'm going to hold my ruler down tight. Stop when you get to the person and finish it off on the other side. That's 2 lines. I need 4 more like that. My next one, once again, start it up here. Same spot on the left side. Line number 3. Now I'm going to switch to a little bit longer ruler so I can get everything in there. Line number 4. Number 5. And number 6. And right now, I know they look really confusing, so what I am going to do is very simply, just for the purposes of showing you, I'm going to shade them in very lightly because I might want to erase this. So, between my first 2 bottom lines, all I'm going to do is kind of shade them in. Think of this as a rail. It's made of 3 boards. I'm going to skip a little space, and then shade in the second one. And then skip a space. And shade in the third one. Like I said, I am not trying to color them in. All I'm going to do is just make it easier to see before we finish it. So these are 3 of the rails. They're going back into space and they get smaller as we go back. Now, to make them stand up, all we have to do is put some completely vertical lines between them. So, rectangular shape that's vertical, but please don't make sure it's not going diagonal because it's going to look like it's falling. So in between them, I'm going to draw a vertical shape. This might extend over here, and I'm going to shade this in. Somewhere further down the line, I'm going to draw another vertical shape. Shade that in. So hopefully as I do this, you can visually see where how the guardrail kind of comes to life. The bottom piece is just boards. So all we have to do is think of it as adding a little bit of texture of lines going back further into space. The rest of the painting is actually fairly simple. Edvard Munch divided the sky with a fairly curvy line and some different color paint. I'm not worried about that part unless you add something to it. Someplace up here, he added a shape like so. And then you add a little bit of sandbar that comes in up to here. The last thing that this sketch needs is a couple of figures in the background. The figures are also walking along over here. There's no details to the figures themselves. So the figures themselves are a basic outline of what a human shape might be. So if you think of it kind of like drawing a stick figure, but as I always say, just fatten them up a little bit. So start off as a stick figure and just kind of fatten it up and color it in dark. Once you get one figure done, add in the second figure. And the figures are just walking in the background. Once you have the basic outline of the sketch, here's where your 3 choices come in. Remember, choice number 1 is you can keep everything exactly the same in the sketch and add 2 things. Anything you want to add to it as long as it's school appropriate. Choice number 2, you can erase things from here and replace them with something. So if I wanted to not draw these people, I could erase them and put in Godzilla coming out. Or choice number 3, which is you can add one thing and you can take one thing away. What you guys do is up to you. It can be as simple as adding in, well, let's do it here. I'm going to add in a simple UFO with an alien up here. I'm going to pretend that this is what my guy is screaming about. Someplace over here, I might add in a sea serpent coming out of the water. Once again, what you choose to use to make fun and to turn this into a dada painting is up to you. Please don't make more than 2 changes. We do want to keep the original mostly intact so people recognize the painting, but have some fun. Creativity is much better than anything super funny you can add to it. So think about how creative you can get with this. I look forward to looking at your sketches.